Hey guys, we're back. We're going to go ahead and open up our index file in Sublime Text. And let's go ahead and make a quick change to our website. I want the website to be centered on the page rather than sit at the top left like it is now, like this. So I'm going to go ahead and add a wrapper. So in between the two bodies tags, I'm going to add div class equals wrapper. And this div is class. So in case I haven't mentioned it before, IDs are divs that are only going to be used once on a page. So you can make a div ID equals footer, and if you want to use that footer again, div ID equals footer, you have to make that a class. Otherwise it's not up to standard to HTML, because IDs are only used once on a page and classes are used more than once. So since I'm not sure how many times I'm going to use that wrapper, I'm going to go ahead and name it a class. So I'm going to go ahead after this footer and add in /div and then type in wrapper. And what a wrapper does is it allows me to wrap the whole website inside of it and then style that one wrapper. And we'll see that it has no effect right now in a second, because like I said earlier, divs are nothing by themselves unless you style them to be. So nothing has changed. And we're going to go back into Sublime Text and we're going to link a style sheet. So up here I already added the link, and what this does is it tells this HTML file that there is another file in the same folder called style.css that is going to dictate how it appears. So what this line is basically saying is link this relative style sheet with type text/css, telling the browser that it's cascading style sheets and that the reference is style.css. So we're going to go ahead and make a new file. Go to File, Save As, Style.css, and this is our new style. So the first thing I want to change is I want to change the font. I don't like this Times New Roman font for whatever reason, and I want it to be Arial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my style. I'm going to type in the element I want to change, which is the whole body. Type in the opening and closing curly braces, and then type in font family Arial. Now once you save this and you save the index, it should take effect. Voila! The website now is Arial instead of Times New Roman, and basically you're going to use font family a lot in a lot of elements, because this is what's going to represent most of the content on your website. Now what I did here is a bad practice. You never want to have font family and then one font, because what if the user doesn't have that font? So for instance, we use what is called a font stack. And what a font stack is basically it tells the browser, look for this on the user's computer. If they don't have that font, look for the next font, look for the next font until it gets to the end. So I'm going to write an example font stack, which would be Arial. And since Mac doesn't come with Arial, I believe, or maybe it does, I don't know, we're going to type in the Mac's equivalent of Arial, which is Helvetica. And then we'll type in Helvetica New just in case you want to use that. And because the font has a space in its name, we wrap it in quotes so that the browser knows that it has a space in its name, not to look for two different fonts, maybe perhaps. But the browsers are very forgiving of this. It may still look for Helvetica New even if you don't have the quotes around it. But we'll keep the quotes there. After Helvetica, we'll do sans serif. Now a serif font is basically a font that has those little legs at the end of it. So let's look that up real quick. What is a serif? And as you can see, I shot the serif. What a serif is those little ending things that come at the end of letters that make them look old-timey. So Times New Roman is a serif font, while Arial has no serifs, so it's a sans serif font. And what this tells the browser to do is look for the default sans serif font on the computer, which most of the time usually has one. So the next thing I want to change is I want to center the website. So we're going to give the website a width. I'm going to use the wrapper, and to specify that I want to style the wrapper, I type in a period and then wrapper. Now you use periods for anything that is a div class or any class period. A period is for classes, whereas the pound sign or the hashtag or whatever you want to call it, those are for IDs. So we're going to use a period here, and we're going to type in width, let's say 800 pixels, and then margin 0 auto. So what this does is it tells the wrapper that it should have a width of 800 pixels and that the margins are 0 to the top and bottom and auto to the left and right. So margins are a little bit more advanced as a concept, but basically it's saying nothing can be around it within 0 pixels, and nothing is around it, so nothing happens. And nothing can be around 0 pixels because it's just the same div. And auto is saying let's space the left and the right sides evenly. So when you want to specify margins, usually you do something like this: margin top 20 pixels, for instance. That means nothing can be within 20 pixels of the top of that div. Or you can do it the shortcut way, which is what we're doing above, which would be 20 pixels, 10 pixels, 20 pixels, 10 pixels. What that's saying is there's going to be a 20 pixel margin at the top, a 10 pixel right margin, a 20 pixel bottom margin, and a 10 pixel left margin. So the order is top, right, bottom, left. And if we only type in 2, it's going to assume the top and the bottom is 20 and the left and the right is 10. So what it's assuming in our original statement is the top and the bottom are 0 and the left and the right are auto based on the width of the page. And if we save that, oops, we should have a censored website. There you go. In the next video, we'll learn how to make our navigation not look so bullet pointy, if that makes any sense, and I'll see you then.